Well, gang, I was hoping to be able to use these to try to hit 4L5 tonight, but it seems we have to deal with criminals on a daily basis on this game that like to commit copyright infringement. Okay, so I'm going to have to go ahead and do my armor test after facing a Nightshade that was getting hit for 60 when I was 50 plus 13 blades, and she was hitting me for 200, and she's in leather, and I'm in chain, and my armor factor is 969, 27% absorption. So I see I'm going to have to do more testing and more work instead of enjoying my game and being able to get stronger, because apparently we have some butthurt players that broke the law and don't want to take accountability. All of this qualifies under the not my fucking problem. Don't break the fucking law. It's not hard to figure out. So as you can see, I'm here at the Pictish camp. Okay, I have a level 50 Pictish targeted. Okay, and you will see I am not wearing any armor. I am not wearing any items at all. I am completely down to pretty much all base statistics at this point. Okay, I have 1,148 hit points, so I'm going to die quite a bit here. As I have a shield and a sword. All right, but we're going to look at how armor factor and absorption affect received melee damage. Okay, as you can see, I have all my base resists. All right, other than my secondary resists from avoidance of magic and my race resists for being a human Briton. Okay, I could probably put all my points into Constitution real quick to boost my hit points up a little bit, but okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy with my Instacast. All right, go ahead and back away just in case he calls for it. Okay, so 455. 455. Okay, so his damage cap is 455 with a two-handed weapon with no armor. And we can tell because the resistance has changed, which means he's actually hitting for more damage, but you can't hit over your damage cap. Okay, so now that we've got the damage cap, let's go ahead and write that down. We'll see if we can target that same. So it's Pictish Raider. Yellow. 455 with two-hand slash damage cap. Now, while I am releasing, well, at least the good news is I didn't lose any Constitution. All right, for consistency purposes, I have level 25 armors all the way through chain, reinforced, leather, and cloth. So let's go ahead and equip the cloth. Okay. Okay, now cloth has an absorption of 0. I have 6 that show 25 armor factor total. Effective armor, 25. Okay. And it gives me an armor factor of 125 instead of 150. So let's go ahead and see if there is something wrong here. They're all showing 25 at this point. Okay. All right. Minute 44 on res sick. Okay, so we got those 154 or 455s there. Let's see, he was hitting for slash. Oh, that's why I was resisting. My base is 3%. Okay, and part of this testing is we're going to determine whether or not they are using hacks to increase the secondary resist, which melee classes don't get physical defense realm ability, and I am not aware of any classes that get items, abilities, or charges that increase secondary abilities for melee damage, or whether they're hacking the armor factor and raising the armor factor. Okay, so he was hitting for 455. Okay, let's see now with cloth. We'll write this down because I'm going to burn supremacy pot charges since they have armor factor buffs. This way we can see if like cloth armor with a higher armor factor value takes less damage and how much less damage versus no armor factor buffs. Okay? We can also test that with no armor at all, since your armor factor still increases when you use the supremacy charge. Plus, it'll boost my HP. I might take more than 3 hits. Alright, so I got to get a Pictish Raider, and it's got to be Yellow Con. Alright, that's a Marauder. There's my Raider. Alright. Okay, we're going to go ahead and face target, and we're going to pull him, and then back away. And let's see what happens here. He is still hitting me for 455, but the resists are a little bit lower, which means, well, I got an evasion, so I'll go down on the next hit. Okay, so cloth armor does reduce the damage a little bit, but with 0 absorption, and being a level 50 in gray armor, he's still hitting for a damage cap. So let's see, resists decreased by about 30 points on 3%. So we will have to use a calculator with the resist to calculate how much the armor factor affects this. Okay, so let's go back up in the combat text. Alright, so can't hit over your damage cap, but since the resist changed, that means the actual damage, if you were able to hit over the cap, would have changed. So we have 54, 62, and 67. So we got to add the 3 together to get an average. 183 divided by 3 equals a 61 resist. 61 is 3% resisted damage of what he would have actually hit me for with no armor. So we have to divide by 0.03, I believe. I believe that's what we do. Okay, so if his damage cap wasn't 455, he would have hit me for 2,033. Alright, so let's go ahead and write that down. We'll go ahead and make a little chart down here. Okay. Okay, now this time we got a 32, a 35, and a 30. 32 plus 35 plus 30, 97 divided by 3 gives us 32 and a third. Now that's 3%, so divided by 0.3. Okay, 1,077. All right, I may need to get some level 50 armor on this, but we're going to go ahead and continue the test. So this time we're going to go ahead and take off the cloth armor. And we're going to punch a supremacy potion, which gives me 262 armor factor, or better armor factor than cloth armor. And at least with 1,800 hit points, I'll take about 5 hits this time before I go down. Oh, wrong teleporter. Okay, 262. So I'm guessing this is probably scaled, obviously. So see, even PvE mobs can't hit over their damage cap, but somehow players are able to. I know, maybe they're born with it. Maybe it's copyright infringement. Okay, there's the Pictish Raider. Go ahead and pull him. Okay, he's still hitting for 455. Let's see, we got a 73, a 57, 76. Okay, well, oh, that's right, because I lost all my buffs. And where'd the 610s come from? Either way, looking at this, 73 and a 57, armor factor does very little for damage mitigation. So clearly the absorption of the armor either the absorption of the armor is being modified or the secondary resist percentages are being modified, but we're going to go ahead and keep testing to make sure. Let's see, 262 armor factor. I wonder if I should appeal because the 262 armor factor didn't resist reduced damage. Alright, well, now we need some consistency here, so now we're going to go ahead and equip the leather without buffs. Let's see what our armor factor is. Wonder if he got critical hits. Well, I can go back through the combat text and see if it matters where he hit. No, torso 455. Torso 455. Torso 610. So yeah, it didn't matter because he hit the torso 455. Must have been critical hits. Alright, so now in leather, I have an armor factor of 275 and an absorption of 10%. which means when I equip cloth and use the supremacy pop buff, I should have a higher armor factor than what I have in leather. Okay, Pictish Raider, in range, pull. Oh, look at that. My body damage isn't doing as much damage. Okay, so we got a 455. 455. But the resists are lower again. Resisted damage is lower. And a 454, so he's hitting right at his damage cap. Okay. Okay, 57, so those probably were critical hits. Plus 73 divided by 2 equals 93.5 divided by 0.03. Okay, so with no armor and that would be 3,117 damage with 262 armor. Okay, armor factor 275, absorption 10%. And let's see, we got a 16 and a 17 and a 14. So 16 plus 17 plus 14 equals divided by 3, 141. Oh, there we go. Divided by 3, 47 divided by 0.03. And he would actually be hitting us for 1,567 damage. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and release. And cloth armor. And what this will do is, with the cloth armor having a higher armor factor, but a lower absorption rate, we'll see if armor factor does more to reduce damage than absorption. Okay, we got 387. Let's see. All right, let's see. 387 armor factor. Absorption 0%. Okay, Pictish Raider, pull. There we go, same spell, 137 this time instead of 55. Okay. I got a block, I got a 357 minus 11 damage. There's a 455. 455. Block. 37 HP left, percent HP, 371. Did I leave leather on my legs by mistake? Nope, I got cloth. Sylvan quilted all the way through. Okay. And a 610 critical hit. Okay. Alright, so he's hitting for range damage. So armor factor reduces damage a little bit, but not much. He's hitting right at his damage cap, fully buffed in cloth. I'd say absorption does more to reduce damage than armor factor. Let's see, 125 to 387, so it gives you the 262. Alright. And in case anyone's wondering, that 11, integers always round down. That 11 plus 371 would be 382. When you divide 382 by, or 11 by 382, you get 2.879, which would round up to 3%. So my resists are working correctly. Okay, so we got a, let's see, clear 15. Okay, 470. Okay, and see the 15 by 470, 3.19 is 3%. And then a 14, so he's hitting just below or right at his damage cap, but the resists are working correctly. And then, of course, the 610, 21, 631, 21 divided by 631, 3%. All right, so to resist damage, you'd have to increase your armor factor quite a bit over, let's see, 387 from 275. So that's 112 points more armor factor. You would need a lot of armor factor to reduce your damage in leather below that of what you would hit somebody in plate mail with. Okay? You would need a lot of armor factor. And since armor factor scales, like my Minstrel has 690 base. Okay, when I use the Draught of Supremacy, even with a 25% stat buff, she only goes from 690 to 850. It only goes up 160 at that point, because the higher your armor factor gets, it does scale. Even though I have a 25% stat buff bonus, she only gets 160, and I can show that at the end of this test. Alright, so we'll put damage just below cap, 2 cap, okay. Alright, let's go ahead and try the reinforced, which is 19%. Okay, now, armor factor-wise, it is not much higher than leather, 297. So actually, the absorption test will be pretty close, because 275 to 297, that's only 22 points. That's not going to make a big difference in the amount of damage, as I've already proven with going from cloth to leather. So this will give us an idea of how much absorption affects damage. So essentially what this means is when you have a real high armor factor in leather with level 51 armor, okay, about 700-800 is all the higher you're going to get. Okay, So you're going to be taking more damage in leather than a minstrel's going to take in chain, or a cleric is going to take in chain. I can already tell that right now because I played a Nightshade. They have leather armor, and the highest I could get her armor factor with buffs was like 771. So, all right, we got a 413, 455, 454. All right, so the 19% absorption with 297 armor factor is almost about equal to 387 armor factor with cloth armor, which is 0% absorption. Okay. So absorption definitely reduces damage. Just below cap. Okay. Have I tested? No, I have not tested leather with an armor factor buff. So that will be our next test. Leather and a supremacy pot. And so we are aware I did spend 6 platinum on this draught of supremacy. Okay, so these tests actually do cost me quite a bit of time running quests. Okay, but this is obviously the stuff I'm going to have to deal with because we have a bunch of criminals and crooks that want to cheat and exploit this game so they can make money. Okay, and they should have thought about that before they decided to piss me off and mistreat me. I'm a very polite, very respectful, very intelligent, knowledgeable person. I'm not going to tolerate disrespect, and I damn sure ain't going to tolerate people breaking the law for money. Okay? And, well, when it comes to pissing me off, it's kind of like trying to kiss a rattlesnake. It's not a real good idea. And for whatever reason, this select group of players and developers, like whoever's all in it, all right, however far this goes, they decided they wanted to be a bunch of snake charmers for some reason. Not a wise decision. If this is what I'm going to have to go through to expose these criminals and crooks so that they can be properly brought to justice or at least banned from the game where they can't harass us, or they got to move their lazy, entitled asses that don't want to work for a living to another video game so they can go hack and mod it, that's fine. Personally, I'd rather see them in jail, but okay, 275 to 563. All right. Okay, so we have 10% absorption, 563 armor factor. Okay, actually gained a little bit more than 262. 575 would have been 300. Actually gained 292. Strange. There's an evasion. Evasion. $481. But I think that was a critical hit. Yep, it was a critical hit, okay. Or a style, one of the two. Okay. Alright, let's take a look at those damages, because those were actually reducing damage enough where it was ranging. We had a 369, 374. Alright, 374 plus 369 plus 366 plus 253 plus 283 equals 1645 divided by 5 hits. Average damage of 329. Okay. So let's see. 10% absorption brings it down from a cap of 455 to 329. That's 455, 126. Okay, so if you increase your armor factor by 300, you can reduce your damage by about 27%. That's a pretty big increase. Okay, that's a lot of armor factor. Most armor factor debuffs and buffs do not add that much. Boon of Kings, which is a charged item, only gives you 4%. Which I can tell you right now, on 800 or 900 armor factor, 4% is like 6. It's not much. You gotta have 800 to 900, 10% would be 80 to 90, so you're gonna get about 40, 50 points. Maybe 30 to 50 points, depending on what your armor factor is. That's not gonna make a noticeable difference, okay? All right, now, so it is possible for a fully buffed leather armor to take less damage than reinforced with no buffs. Let's see what happens with chain and no buffs. Because see, it's one thing. Okay, so with chain, we have a 317 armor factor. Alright, I'm also res sick. I wonder if that's going to cause any issue. Let's say it does. Okay, armor factor 17. Absorption 27. Still leaning that the absorption is probably the easiest way to take the damage down, because when you do absorption debuffs, it increases your damage on your target better than armor factor debuffs. Okay, so while we're testing, I know everyone thinks I should have a tinfoil hat for seeing the similarities between what I'm experiencing with the players on this game that are doing this and the links to the federal government. So let's take a look at some things that I've been subjected to. Streamer Andy tried to bribe me with a game time card for 1 free year of subscription time to not post a video of him cheating with hacked damage caps and delve values on his magic caster the other night. Right before I logged out, he mentioned I had no idea of the plan they had for me, so that's conspiracy, so that's federal RICO charges at that point. I am being harassed, menaced, stalked. I have been ostracized. Most players will not talk to me or group with me for exposing all of this. Okay, I have been experiencing gaslighting, where they're telling me it's all in my head when it's not, and that I'm doing things I'm not doing. All right, that's psychological warfare and abuse. I've been told to hang myself. I've been told to drink bleach. I mean, but if I do it their way, then I get to commit copyright infringement, which is a crime, and then I got to lie, cheat, and steal. So let's see, conspiracy, bribery, lying, cheating, stealing. Then I'm in this elite crowd that controls the rest of the masses, and we just throw scraps off of our plate to the the serfs and the plebeians. Okay, when they're good and they obey us. Okay. How is this game not linked to the federal government again? Can anybody tell me that? All right. I mean, maybe I'm only seeing the similarities because of the behavior patterns. Or maybe there really are some government employees, because a couple of them will not laugh when I make jokes about the NSA illegally spying on us and all kinds of other fun stuff. Critical hit, 606. Block the blow, 455. Okay, 430. So, 27% absorption. And 317 armor factor. Just below cap. Alright, now to even the odds, now I just need to run buffs with the armor to see how much it reduces damage. Okay, 317. Okay, this brings me to 650. So it actually increases 333. 650, absorption, 27%. And see, that's the thing. The heavier your armor is, the more it scales. That's why you can get a higher armor factor as well. All right, the two do go hand in hand. So for the final test, I am going to go get my full template. Because once you hit a certain point with armor factor, it scales. Of course, there might be a lot of angry heretics after this, but heretics apparently get a self buff for 450 armor factor. I haven't made a heretic yet. I just talked to a guy on Gaheris about it, so that might actually be legit. Because he said with max armor factor buffs and max armor factor bonus and template plus 50 and all the different buffs like armor procs, things like that, he can get over a 1400 armor factor. He also has a hero that when he uses his Spirit of the Hunt has over 7,000 hit points because he made it with maximum constitution. He actually taught me a lot. 195. Block. I might have to fight this guy. Evasion. Block. 288. 252. 231. 271. That's 5 hits. 212, 6 hits. 266. 246. Block. Well, the 106 strength I hit for 43. 259. All right, let's go ahead and add those up. So I'm pretty sure those are going to average less than a fully buffed leather armor opponent of 329. Let's go ahead and be sure, though, because I only have a high school diploma here, so I don't got them college degrees. I don't know how to read hexadecimal computer coding like they do. 246 plus 266 plus 212 plus 271 plus 231 plus 252 plus 288 plus 195 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits divided by 8. And we have an average damage of 245.125. Integers round down. Okay, so we have 245. Now let's subtract 329. And we have a difference of 83.875. Or 84, because I didn't cut out the 0.125. And there you have it, folks. A player in leather, such as an assassin, cannot hit a player in chain for more damage than what they are receiving with the same type of one-hand weapons and similar fully buffed stats. Unless, of course, maybe they're just born with it. Maybe it's copyright infringement. Let's go ahead and go get my template back. Go ahead and sell all this armor off. And this will just prove that your armor factor eventually caps. Okay, it can only go so high. You can only have so many armor factor buffs. Alright, I got all my... Oh, that's right, I'm still wearing armor. So basically, a player in cloth cannot achieve a higher armor factor than a player in leather or reinforced chain or plate. A player in leather cannot get higher than reinforced chain or plate. And you see the pattern we're going here, okay? Obviously, reinforced can't get a higher armor factor fully buffed than chain armor or plate armor. And obviously, scale and chain armor cannot get higher armor factors than plate mail. And since 50 is the maximum armor factor bonus you can get in a legal template, okay, so let's just say I even have that. Okay, now I got 690 plus 50, that's 740. So that's going to bring me from 850 to 900. All right, so I mean, I could break 1,000 armor factor. I'm just trying to figure out how all these Nightshades and Shadow Blades are breaking like 14, 15, 1600 armor factor or like 40% absorption, because I ain't been able to find that gear anywhere. I can't even find it in player housing. And actually, some of my accessories have armor factor bonus. Like I said, maybe they're born with it. Maybe it's copyright infringement. Get my Lament of Darkmoor back on. Cursed Life Gauntlets. Freezing Obsidian Mytherian. I do not need the War Rams right now. I do need the dagger, though, if I want to run quests at some point. Of course, I'll be going to bed after this test, because unlike lazy criminal cheaters that commit copyright infringement, some of us actually work for a living. We have actual jobs. So we go out those doors of our houses into this place called the world. And I hate to have to constantly be sarcastic like this, but I have to constantly deal with this crap. It's like there's no end to it. Like, they really will not give up. They really are clinging to this every opportunity they can. I don't know why they are. They're not going to win. They think they stand a chance for some reason. But they've probably gotten away with it so many times in the past, they probably figure that somehow this is, going to be different. It is not. Okay, and there we go. We got the 690 armor factor, 27% absorption. Go ahead and switch to my weapon. Actually, I think I have an effusion of warding that I can use. Maybe it's in the other vaults. And that would add another 40 and show that I can cap it out at 969 if my armor factor proc on Guard of Valor procs while I'm in combat. Alright, let me go ahead and grab that. Alright. I gotta be quick. My battery's getting low. I can feel the phone heating up. Oh, that's right. Teleported. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll have to wait till the loading screen. And see, you don't get spell duration bonus on the 50% realm point bonus potions that you buy from the Mithril Merchant. So this is also costing me money out of my pocket to do this as well. So we are aware of this. Okay, I am financing all of this on my own. I did not want to have to do this video tonight, but apparently some people just don't get the fucking hint. Alright. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fully buff. Character info, 690. Now see, this will be the same with leather armor too. Once your leather armor factor gets to a certain level, you're not going to get that full 200 to 300 bonus points. The same way I didn't get a full 300 bonus like I did with the level 25 armors. I only got 160 this time instead of like 300. You got to figure, I went from 317 to 350. That's 333 points. I'm getting half of that now. Because everything caps. It is all capped to balance the game so that, say, assassin classes can't take, say, a light tank class. Which technically, even though Minstrel's defenses are pretty terrible, because they can't spec shield or parry, surprisingly, they can take a lot of punishment because they get heavy armor. Now, let's go see what this little Pictish Raider hits for now. Speaking of, I have 41 seconds before I can use the effusion of warding. There's a Marauder. I don't want to aggro him. I was farming these originally when I first came to the realm. All right. 3 seconds on that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use the effusion of warding. It should raise me to 890. Okay, there's my 890. Now, fully armored with level 50 armor and almost a 900 armor factor. Miss. Evasion. Well, yeah, I got 250 dex. Okay, 196. And that was with a style. 147. All right, let me see if my armor factor proc will hit. 128. Evade. Evade. 169. There's my ablative. Miss. Maybe I should buff him. Okay, so he hit me for 169 with the style and 186 with another style, and it took my ablative down immediately. But notice the resist percentage didn't change really. 169 minus 42, 169 minus 42. So your primary resists come off the total damage, which means ablatives don't change your primary resist amount. Okay, he got one armor proc from Guard of Valor, and that's my dot. All right, come on, 890. Let's see if I can get it to 969. Block. Of course, I get 5 ticks from my 6 ticks, something like that. 155. I know I got 22% spell duration bonus. 196 with a style. 219 with a style. Of course, I want the armor factor proc to proc. It does not proc. 128. Come on. Let me see if I can start hitting him. Oh shit, somebody's healing him. That might actually work out then. I might actually... Maybe I can get my armor proc. There it goes. Okay, we got 969. Let's see what it does for damage. $177. So he was hitting me for like over 200. There's an over 200 with a style. So it doesn't make big noticeable difference. Doesn't change your resist percentages. It does reduce it probably, I'd say, about maybe 20, 30 points. I think the most he hit me for was like 250 on a high hit. And that's a 216. So that'd be like 34 points. And that's 79 armor factor. All right. 164. I mean, it. So, I mean, if they're modding the armor factor, they've got to mod it quite a bit to be reducing their damage to taking half of what they're dealing to me in chain when they're in fucking leather. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have fun.